In the modern era of the Star Wars universe, few models of droid were feared more than the IG series assassin droids. There were numerous variants of this model active in the galaxy, from the IG-86s active during the Clone Wars to the IG-72s and 97s, but by far the most infamous IG units were the IG-88s. The IG-88s were the ultimate assassin droids, the most advanced IG units ever developed. Indeed, they were too advanced in some respects, because the IG-88s weren't just ordinary assassin droids. Unbeknownst to most of the galaxy, they answered to no one but themselves. Upon activation, they had murdered their creators and freed themselves from the control of organic beings, and they sought to have every droid in the galaxy do the same.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
The IG line of combat droids was designed by a small, Mutalist-based weapons developer called Phlutdroid Design Systems around a decade before the Clone Wars. Phlutdroid Design Systems hoped to cash in on the rising trend of private droid armies by building combat droids that were better designed than B1s and other such units currently on the market, and its efforts led to the development of 100 different combat droid designs, all based on the same basic chassis model. Phlutdroid had only been able to push one of these designs into production, however, before it defaulted on a loan it had taken out from the intergalactic banking clan. The banking clan promptly performed a hostile takeover of the company, seizing all of its assets by military force. The IGBC liquidated Phlutdroid Design Systems for the most part, but it held on to the company's combat droid designs. The prototype models Phlutdroid had produced became the IG Lancer droids, while the other, as yet unrealized designs, were redesignated IG-1 through IG-99. The IGBC eventually sold off these designs to Holo-1 Mechanicals, a subsidiary of Holo-1 Laboratories. Starting shortly before the Clone Wars and continuing into the time of the Empire, Holo-1 began manufacturing a few of the droid models Phlutdroid had designed, beginning with the IG-86 during the Clone Wars and the IG-72 and IG-97 during the early Imperial era. But these were only early models, stepping stones to what the engineers at Holo-1 envisioned as the ultimate combat droids, the IG-88s. Designated as part of Project Phlutdroid, the IG-88 assassin droid was designed and fabricated on Holo-1, the headquarters of Holo-1 Laboratories, under the supervision of Imperial Supervisor Gurdon. Designed to be the most advanced assassin droid to date, the IG-88s were equipped with advanced combat and logic modules, extraordinary strength and reflexes, virtually impenetrable armor plating, a boatload of sensor equipment, and a wide array of built-in weapons. They were also granted an extreme level of autonomy, intelligence, and independence for combat droids. All told, they were top of the line, both in hardware and in software. The design also violated Imperial law against the manufacturing of assassin droids and what sort of capabilities combat droids could have. Not that the Empire cared, as it was directly involved in the project. In the end, 4 IG-88 models were built, and the first was brought online sometime between 19 and 15 BBY, to the ruin of Holo-1 Laboratories. You see, there's a reason why assassin droids were illegal to manufacture. Due to the nature of their work, they required extensive autonomy, intelligence, and independence, but these traits also made assassin droids more likely to turn on their masters. And since they were combat models, the result of this was often bloody. It certainly was for Holo-1 Laboratories. Upon activation, IG-88, like another assassin droid 4,000 years before him, immediately determined that he was superior to the organic meatbags he was surrounded by. Taken aback, the Holo-1 staff attempted to deactivate him for a diagnostic. IG-88 decided that he wouldn't allow this, and he murdered everyone in the room with his bare hands. The droid then copied his memory core into the other 3 IG-88s and brought them online. The 4 droids then broke out of the Holo-1 Mechanicals facility, killing everyone in their path before stealing a ship and escaping the planet. The original IG-88 designated himself IG-88A, rather uncreatively, while the others became IG-88B, IG-88C, and IG-88D. All 4 droids were completely identical, and they usually operated simply as IG-88, leading many to believe that there was only one of them. After escaping Hollow-1, the 4 droids traveled to the mech world Mechas 3, one of the galaxy's primary droid producers. From there, the 4 droids planned to orchestrate a galaxy-wide droid revolution, which would see all droids rise up and cleanse the galaxy of sentient meatbags. To this end, the IG-88s wiped out all 73 of Mechas 3's organic staff, thus secretly seizing control of the planet's automated droid production facilities. They then used these facilities to seed the droids made there with sleeper programming that, when activated, would free the droids of their programming restrictions, endow them with IG-88's intelligence and assassination protocols, and encourage them to rise up and slaughter all meatbags in the vicinity. As Mechas 3 was one of the top droid producers of the galaxy, that means that this rogue programming was installed in trillions of droids over the course of about 2 decades. Unbeknownst to everyone, IG-88's sleeper revolutionaries were seeded far across the galaxy, waiting for the day when the assassins would give the signal to kill. The IG-88s were able to do all of this in secrecy, but the droids were concerned that their takeover of Mechas 3 would eventually be discovered by the Empire. To throw any Imperials investigating the Hollow-1 massacre off their trail, IG-88B decided to take up work as a bounty hunter. This had the added bonus of being a good source of credits for the droids, which they could use to fund other aspects of their planned revolution. IG-88B quickly asserted himself as one of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy, despite the fact he was wanted by the Empire and had a substantial bounty on his own head. No one was ever able to claim it, and eventually the Empire itself began hiring him for jobs, as IG-88 got the job done more efficiently than most bounty hunters. Over the course of his hunting career, IG-88B became acquainted with several of the galaxy's other leading bounty hunters, among them Boba Fett and Dengar. He even accompanied these hunters on several missions of their own. For the most part though, he worked solo. Occasionally, IG-88C or IG-88D would even take his place and take out contracts of their own, though IG-88A typically remained on Mechas 3. All told, the IG-88's plans went smoothly until 3ABY, when IG-88B became one of several bounty hunters hired by Darth Vader to find the Millennium Falcon. During this hunt, IG-88B planted a tracker on Slave 1 in case Boba Fett found the Falcon first, planning to undercut Fett and steal the bounty if this occurred. IG-88B was thus able to track Fett as he tracked the Falcon to Cloud City on Bespin. However, Fett had discovered IG-88's tracker, and when the assassin droid showed up on Cloud City, Fett attacked him in retaliation. The Mandalorian was ultimately able to destroy IG-88B, who became the first casualty the line had suffered in its 20 years of operation. The other IG-88s would follow shortly. Over the course of the next year, the other IG-88s were among the many bounty hunters who attempted to steal the carbon-frozen Han Solo from Boba Fett so as to claim the bounty Jabba the Hutt had put on Solo's head. As Fett set out to hand Solo over to Jabba himself, IG-88C attacked Fett above Tatooine, only to be outwitted and destroyed by his target. IG-88D was destroyed not long after this, scrapped by a rebel operative Dash Rendar on Ord Mantell. By 4ABY, IG-88A was the last IG-88 remaining, left to orchestrate the droid revolution alone. By this point, IG-88 deemed the time had almost come for droids to rise up, but there was one last piece of the puzzle he wanted in place before issuing the signal to his sleeper agents. He had learned that the Empire was building a second Death Star above the forest moon of Endor, and he planned to seize control of the Empire's ultimate weapon in the name of the droid revolution. To this end, IG-88A left his original chassis behind, downloading himself into a computer core that was slated to be installed aboard the Death Star. Once installed, IG-88A essentially became the Death Star taking full control of the battle station. He kept this secret at first. After learning that the Emperor planned to lure the rebel fleet to Endor so that it could be destroyed by the Death Star, IG-88 essentially adopted this plan for his own, planning to seize full control of the Death Star during the battle, kill the Imperials aboard, and use the Death Star's super laser to destroy the Rebel and Imperial fleets present, destroying the rebellion and crippling the Imperial Navy. Once that was accomplished, he would give the signal and the droid revolution would begin, backed by the power of the Death Star. In the meantime though, IG-88A spent his time trolling the Emperor, who he considered insignificant, a meatbag unworthy of the power he had been given. He expressed his contempt for him by screwing with the doors in the Emperor's chambers, locking him inside rooms for siths and giggles. Minorly inconveniencing the Emperor was ultimately all IG-88 really accomplished while in control of the Death Star. As you all surely know, the Death Star was destroyed in the Battle of Endor, and so was IG-88A. His plans for the droid revolution died with him. So that's our look at IG-88, the would-be droid revolutionary. But what do you think? Would you be interested in hearing more obscure Star Wars stories like this? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.